Hello, Ken. This is my Michigan Wolverine versus Indiana Hoosier post-game analysis. And hey, we got back on track. Got a win. It was a big win. It was a good win. But it was lowly Indiana. So take it for what it's worth. Before I get into the breakdown too much, remember to like, subscribe, comment, and hit that notification bell down below. I do greatly appreciate it. We went in, took care of business. We did what we had to do. We beat them by more than I predicted. I was predicting a 17-point victory, and we beat them by even more than that, so that's good. It didn't look like there was much of a hangover from the Michigan State loss, which was good. Put that one behind us quickly and got back after it, and really gave Indiana no sign of life in this one. A little bit of a slow start for us, but we're up 17-7 at halftime and then just completely shut Indiana down in the second half. They didn't score another single point. Only managed to put up 7 in the second quarter and blanked them the rest. And we added another 12 points. Still too many field goals, though. Way too many field goals. We got to find a way to find a red zone offense. There's got to be something. There's got to be something you can do. You've got these big tight end targets. You've got Hassan Haskins, who's a beast. You've got weapons. Find a way to put them into a position to score a freaking touchdown. I mean, excuse my language, but it's just ridiculous how bad our offense looks in the red zone compared to anywhere else on the field. It's awful. Shout out to Jake Moody, incredible kicker. He's been phenomenal this year, and thankfully, because without him, we would not look very good. Can you imagine if he was shanking field goals? We get all the way down there and we miss out on points altogether. I mean, it's bad enough settling for field goals, but my gosh, if we didn't have a good kicker and we were coming away with nothing, that would be brutal. So the red zone offense has still got to be better. It still wasn't good, even against Indiana, who, they're 0-6 in the conference. They're clearly not the best team in the world, and we still got bogged down in the red zone. So, come on, coaches. You got to find a way to get these guys into a position where they can be successful, because right now you're not. You're clearly not. We're still struggling mightily to find a way to get the ball into the end zone. It's that simple, and that's got to be fixed. Losing Blake Corum hurt. I have not heard anything about his injury or where he's at. Hopefully he's not out for a long time. But Hassan Haskins really stepped up to the plate and had a great game. 27 carries, 168 yards, 6.2 average, and a touchdown. That's a solid day, especially for a guy who's not really used to carrying the load like that. So, I mean, Blake Corum only had the one carry for 4 yards, so he didn't really do much this one. So it was all Haskins, and I think he stepped up to the plate. I've been saying all along that I think Haskins is a really good back. I think he gets overlooked sometimes because Corum is a flashier back. But Haskins is everything you want him to be. Give me the football. I'm not going to fumble. I'm just going to get downhill. I'm going to pick up yards, and that's it. That's it. He even ripped off some big ones in this game. So, he had, what was his longest? A 62-yarder. So he's got plenty. He's a really good back. I think he stepped up to the plate and played well. Our offensive line looked a lot better. I felt like our interior offensive line really let us down in the Michigan State game. They bunched us up, and we were not able to move them off the ball at all. This time, back to where we were before, where we're getting a lot of movement up front, and that opens a lot of seams for our backs to run through. Wide receiving, Cornelius Johnson stepped up a little bit. I felt like he had a really nice game, and Andrew Anthony fell off a little bit. That could have been because Indiana decided to focus on Anthony, and rightfully so, after the game he had against Michigan State. And so Cornelius Johnson really capitalized on the opportunity. Sometimes, I think he really thrived in an environment where not all eyes were on him. So 5 receptions, 108 yards. That's a really good game. Roman Wilson got back in on some of the action a little bit. Sanderson had a couple of nice grabs. Schoonmaker had some nice grabs. That one on the sideline where he was out of bounds was a ridiculous catch, by the way. Too bad he couldn't get a foot down because that was insanely good. McNamara, another solid, safe outing. 10 of 18, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns. McCarthy, not as good a game for him in this one. He struggled a little bit. I don't know if he was in his head a little bit after what happened at the Michigan State game and really feeling like, the fumble cost him the game. I personally don't believe it did. There were multiple factors that cost Michigan the game against Michigan State. So hopefully he's not too down on himself. And if he is, the coaching staff needs to pick him up. His teammates need to pick him up. He's a really good player. He's got all the talent in the world. And one bad play does not define you. You got to put that fumble behind you. Yeah, it's a rough play, but it happens to the best of them. So hopefully that wasn't the case. Maybe he just had a bad day for whatever reason. That happens sometimes, especially with younger players. So not the greatest game in the world. I still personally think he should be the starting quarterback, but hey, we're winning most of our games, so it is what it is. I do understand where the coaching staff is coming from and playing McNamara and trying to bring JJ along slowly, but McCarthy just opens up your offense in ways that McNamara can't. There was late in the game when J.J. McCarthy came in for a series because we had Indiana basically put away at that point. He ripped one to an out route that really the defensive back was only sitting maybe 3 yards off of that route, and McCarthy has such a strong arm, he was able to squeeze that ball in there to the wide receiver who got up the sideline for a couple extra yards. And quite frankly, if McNamara is trying to throw, McNamara can't throw that ball. If he were to try to throw that ball, it would be intercepted because he does not have the arm strength for that. So McCarthy brings things to your offense that Cade McNamara simply can't. Yes, there's going to be mistakes, but I'm of the belief that you let your young quarterback make those mistakes because that's how you learn. Like in this game, he threw an interception to Indiana. Yes, it happens. That's how he's now you got stuff on film. He's going to go watch it. He's going to learn from it, and that's how you get better. So, I don't know. There's definitely a downside with J.J. McCarthy. I keep saying that I think he should be the starter, but I do also understand there's downside in playing a young quarterback, turnovers being one of them. So, don't think that I'm sitting here trying to say J.J. McCarthy should be the starter, hands down, no doubt about it. There's no reason you should be playing Cade McNamara, blah, 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 blah. That's not what I'm saying. I personally believe you should go with McCarthy, but I do understand the argument for playing Cade McNamara, and I can't say that argument is completely wrong. So it just depends on which way you view things. But I thought that Cade McNamara had another nice game. Nothing to write home about. I mean, it was nothing. I mean, Hassan Haskins rushed for literally the same amount of yardage that Cade McNamara threw for. I mean, looking at it through those glasses, not that great, but he was efficient. 10 of 18, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns, 81 quarterback rating. So, not lighting the world on fire, but just having a solid performance, and there's something to be said for that. I admit that. Defensively, played better. We played better. I felt like our defensive backs did a better job of tackling in this one. Granted, Indiana was a bit shorthanded. They were playing their third string running back, maybe. So they weren't playing against the best players in the world, certainly. And I think Indiana would tell you that. I think Michigan would tell you that. But overall, we looked better. And we got quite a bit of pressure. Only 2 sacks. But we did have 9 quarterback hurries, which is just ridiculous. A quarterback's got to feel like he's running around all day. 4 of those 9 hurries were Aiden Hutchinson, of course. But yeah, we just played really well. I thought our corners our corners continue to get better. DJ Turner, I like Turner as a return man, by the way. But again, now you've got a starter in as a return man, so you're risking injury, just like you did with Ronnie Bell. Take it for what it's worth, but I think he did a good job in that role. But I also really like the way he's playing at corner, so I don't know if there's a clear answer there, but it is what it is. Vincent Gray, I thought, had a good game. He was able to stick to his wide receiver for the most part and make plays on the football. So they're getting better. It's getting better. Every week I feel like they continue to look better. But Indiana's not the toughest test in the world. So take it all for what it's worth. I feel like we came out and did what we had to do to get back on track, to right the ship, and then Michigan State lost. So we're right back in this thing. We are right back in the race. If we win out and Michigan State drops another game to anybody, then we're going to the championship game. So take care of what you can take care of, win your games, and let the chips fall where they may. So Yep, that's all I got on this one. Short and sweet, nice and simple. We put the Michigan State loss behind us. That's really was the biggest concern. We definitely, on paper, match up really well against Indiana. Obviously, we have a more talented team. Not trying to take anything away from Indiana, but Michigan is a more talented team, and so it was important to put the Michigan State game behind us and move on and get this win to right the ship, get our confidence back a little bit, so we can go into this second part of the season here on a high note, because it's not getting any easier. Rough finishing stretch to the season, so it's good. It's all good. I don't really want to talk about the coaching right now. I don't want to. The play calling continues to be uninspired, vanilla, and not great. I think it's the biggest reason why we're not converting touchdowns in the red zone. Just the play calling isn't good enough. But I don't want to get into that too much. It's going to bring me down, and I don't want to be a downer. So I'm going to wrap this one here. Remember, all love all the time. Peace.